Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
it's
that
like
time.
20 minutes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I grew up there.
That's
So that's
hilarious.
so funny. I
You're a
forgot that
mass
you guys
hole.
told me. I'm a I totally think I'm not, but I technically am.
You're a mass hole. That's great. I love it. I sold in Haverhill, Massachusetts, which is like
I don't know where that is.
it's by North Andover, by Andover, North Andover.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like just next to that, right before you get up to Manchester.
That was your second summer, right, Andres?
Yeah, and so Danny actually sold in Haverhill. We lived in Haverhill. There's our HQ. Also, for those people, I forgot to mention this to you too, Sarah, but since we are going to try to make these outside of like Southwestern alumni public, I will explain what an HQ is because book lingo.
Okay.
Yeah, HQ
Good
is
to
where you
know.
live in the summer when you're selling. So we call it a headquarters, the HQ. It's just whatever host family.
You know, honestly, I think we should, if we're gonna like release this out to other people, we shouldn't like neuter the conversations that we have by
That's fair.
everything that we do. We should have like an episode of just like all the lingo for Southwest.
Yeah.
And then people who didn't sell books can start there and then watch everything else. So
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so you're from Attleboro, and
Yeah.
you went to school down in.
And I moved to Florida after I graduated high school. So I went to UCS, and that's when I started living in Orlando.
Okay, I love Orlando.
Yeah.
I have family down there.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah. And I've Southwestern, freshman year is when I did it. So, yeah, Maria hit me up.
No way. Tell us about how you got recruited.
So I was one of those recruits that like I got the phone call and I was so excited. I was like, and I remember like I couldn't make it, and so I texted her and I was the one that kept rescheduling. I was like, can I please make it to another one? Was there another one? As a recruiter, I'm sure that's like the best to get out of somebody is like, hell yeah.
You're a pony.
Yeah. Yeah, and oh my God. I feel like it was such fate that Maria recruited me. I feel like we're pretty similar. We're both like very chill. And I did my final project, like a yoga thing. And I guess I don't remember exactly what it was on it, but I remember she hung it up in her room and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's something Maria would do. Maria, if you're watching, we love you. Congrats on the engagement.
It made me feel so good. I was like, yes, she really liked it.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. And so then when in the semester, like was it closer to the end of the semester or have you been training for
spring. It was spring.
Oh, okay, cool. And then you went out, where did you sell that first summer?
South Carolina. Yep. Oh my gosh. Okay. I was thinking about HQs earlier, and our first HQ was the best. And I don't remember exactly. Oh, West Columbia was where we lived. So it was me and Maria and Kimmy for half of it. And then, oh my God, we had a lot of people living in HQ. And then another manager and another manager. There was like 5 of us, and there was only 2 beds. So it was very cramped, but it was the best. Like, it was so homey. Every Sunday, our host mom would invite her whole family over, and they would just have a backyard barbecue. We had some like Sunday meetings there too.
At the HQ?
Like, at my HQ. Yeah, because she was just so dope. Like, just so homey and cool, and she cooked such good food for us. Even though we had to fit like 2 or 3 people in a bed, it was like we just loved being there.
Did you guys find her when you got there, or was she already set up before you got there? Because I know there's 2 ways of going about that.
Yeah, we had to find her. Well, Maria found her. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was like you were going into this town like, all right, let's find a place to live.
The first summer, I didn't really know that's what we were doing. And Maria just made it seem like so fun. She was just like, we're going to go around doors and find a place to live. And then me and Zach who was the other first year that she recruited on our team, we were just like, okay, like,
sure,
doing whatever Maria says.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then so that's how you got recruited. Did you think? I mean, were you a pony the whole time? Or was there ever a point where before the summer you're like, okay, what is this whole thing? Or were you just like completely bought in from the beginning?
Totally not. I was solid Southwestern. Like, even I had to like convince my parents, and oh my God, when I called my parents after the info, and I was just like, okay, so there's this thing that I just went to, and I'm gonna do it. Like I really want to do it. And I explained it over the phone exactly for what it was, like door to door selling, and even like saying it out loud. I didn't think twice. I was like, that's what I want. and my parents were like, okay, and yeah.
Dang. Okay, that's awesome.
What eventually warmed them up?
Maria.
I was gonna say it was probably meeting Maria.
Totally Maria. Oh my God, my mom loves Maria. Yeah, they were both like, my mom told me that her and my dad would talk like, okay, she's like super excited about this. How do we can't like break her excitement. She's like so excited. Like, I don't know, what should we say? And then I told her that they were gonna meet Maria, and she came over, and my dad is Arabic, and Maria's dad her dad. His family in Morocco. Yeah.
Her dad. Yeah.
So they kind of have similar cuisine. So she brought these cookies, and must have been the cookies, but my dad was like, okay.
Go sell. We don't care. Go do whatever you want. Maria can stay though. You can go. That's awesome.
Maria was the best.
So
then following her was so fun too.
Oh, I bet. What did you guys do? Anything like crazy fun stuff? Like, you hear these stories of people fooling around. Anything like that?
Okay, no, we didn't really do that. But it was my first summer too, and it was in the very beginning when we, you follow people to get warmed up to knocking on doors. And I just remember like Maria just being so chill, like, like she's just like, we are at this house and she gets these fresh peaches, and she's just eating a peach. It's not like you're eating apple, like you're eating a juicy peach. There's like juice coming down your face, like you're eating a peach, and she's like doing an approach, like while she's eating.
They're in South Carolina, okay.
And I just remember that moment so well, and I'm like, wow, she's just like in there.
That's
totally in there.
So your like introduction to Southwestern through Maria, was it like mostly just fun and super positive, or was it like super intense in any way to be like, we got to be champions of the book field, we need to sell all the books? What was her, what was your introduction to this business?
I think like it was definitely like, this is really hard. Like she definitely made sure I knew it was really hard. And like she would always tell me like, you're gonna be top first year, right? And I was like, yeah. And just like always the kind of started in there. So I was very much without a doubt thinking that I'm gonna work really hard because Maria thinks I'm gonna be a top first year, so I'm gonna be a top first year.
That's cool. Did you you were?
I was, yeah.
Ah, there you go. So, if Maria says it, then good. Then it comes to life.
That first summer was 2016 or 15?
Yeah, 2016. Well, was it? Yeah, 2016.
Awesome.
Oh, cool.
So you had your first Sizzler there in the Dominican Republic, Punta Cana.
Yep. Punta Cana.
What a time.
Yep.
I remember that one.
It was so fun. Oh my God. This is your first time. It's like, you are like just mind blown that this exists. Like,
right. They still did it this year. They were like, who needs a pandemic? We're going to Mexico. And so they just got back. Like some of them stayed an extra week and did some extra things. And gosh, especially like the DR when they had like the club on the actual resort where you could just go clubbing all night. And I think someone fell off a roof and it was raining most nights, and then we still went out to the clubs anyway. And gosh, they had Coco Bongo down there.
Coco Bongo.
As a first year student, do you remember like your impression of Sizzler? Like, did anything happen that you were like, whoa, this is next level? Or did you ever have any like crazy Sizzler story like that?
I mean, to be honest, I don't. Like, I just remember like being a little bit like taken aback about how much people partied.
They don't slow down.
They're crazy.
Like, totally, like really understanding like work hard, play hard, like for sure. They're not lying.
They play as hard as they work for. That's true. This is true. We've had some Sizzler stories where people went to jail and stuff before, so it's always worth asking that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know. Sizzler is super crazy. I even like, I mean, there's a lot of it I just don't remember. I'm just like,
so you sold 3 summers. And so your last summer was this last summer, the 2019 summer.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So how did you, what are you up to now? What have you been up to in the last year?
Your last summer was 2018
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Good math.
She was in, you were in Indonesia last year, right? Or
Bali? Yeah. Actually, after my last summer, it was in Wisconsin, which was awesome. Like, best place to sell, I think, for sure. Because you get the cold weather, you can wear a sweatshirt and like be running around and not be sweating. Anyway, and then so that was after Wisconsin. I studied abroad in Thailand, and then after that I was kind of like, I know that what I wanted to do was in mental health and in yoga, so I just wanted to continue doing that. After it was my last year in school, and I just wanted to focus on that, so that's when I stopped doing Southwestern.
Cool.
And yeah, then this past year I was in Bali, and then I got a job in a mental health hospital, and I always think, and I think I talked to Nick on the phone a couple of times just about like my current life and everything, and how like I use literally everything I learned from Southwestern in my current job. Like, I don't even think I would be, well, of course I would be capable, but I don't know if I would have like the skills down to do like some of these jobs like without Southwestern and what it teaches you. Like, what I do is I'm a recreational therapist, so I work with patients who are in a mental health facility that is like crisis. So it's very short term. They're usually Baker acted, or they come like from calling the suicide hotline or something. And it's a wide range of like people that you deal with, like from, you know, paranoid schizophrenic to severely depressed and anxious and like everything. So when I'm like holding a group, they're not very much divided by diagnoses. So you just have a bunch of different behaviors in the room, and you have to literally, you have to redirect all the time. And you guys know, like when you're in a sit down and the mom goes off topic or you're talking about something else, you have to redirect all the time and like get back to the sales talk. And I literally do that all day. I feel like.
Just go out.
So you're just getting out with all the most like interesting and perhaps high energy as well as low energy characters possible.
Yeah.
That's
And so then, like, what other skills do you, because someone asked us, Dylan Barr asked us, biggest lesson from selling books door to door that you still use in your yoga teaching career, which I think still kind of applies to this topic that we're talking about. Like, what other skills have you used?
Okay, well, obviously public speaking, selling yourself, and like being really confident. And specifically teaching yoga, let me think. I mean, okay, I want to talk about approaching, because I feel like that's something huge that I do all the time too. Like if I'm getting a group, like I have to run a group, you know, and there's people that are in bed, and I don't even let my, like the techs that are in the milieu, like the unit, they have to go and get the patients to come to my group. I don't even let them do that, because half the time none of them come. So I go and I approach them, then I second approach them, and then I'm in their room and I'm like, let's go to group, like get up, and I'm like halfway walking out the door. That always gets them. And so this whole, I like third approach all the time.
I'm sorry, have you not heard of me? We're going to go.
I'm like, hey, good morning.
No way, that's awesome.
Yeah, and like even in teaching yoga, like just being really present. Oh my God, that's a whole level of Southwestern that you learned so well. Like listening and being really present, because that's how you're really gonna know what the person in front of you needs. Like, I mean, especially in like the healthcare industry, you know, having all these behaviors around you, you know, redirect all the time, but you also need to like be really present with like, why are they behaving that way? What do they need right now? And how to like redirect them in a way that is what they're looking for, and not just like trying to tell them stop doing this, stop doing that. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That I feel like just the general lessons about having a good attitude that Southwestern teaches is probably just, even that alone for anybody would be crazy.
Totally.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that like your perspective is like, it's like you rewire your brain, because like I'm sure we all meet so many people that will initially look at the negative of the situation. And that's definitely something you learn in Southwestern, like always think of 3 positives, of every situation. And that's like, you like really rewire your brain in that way. And it's so cool.
It's part of the Kool-Aid.
But like if that becomes instinctual, then that's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Phil Zolke was telling us about that too with his current career, right, Nick? I think was it Phil? He was saying that he's like, whenever something difficult goes on, he just thinks of 3 positives. And like that simple thing, just a little.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Do you guys ever find yourself? I do this sometimes where I knock on a door and I still step back and turn sideways without even.
Oh, I absolutely do.
Why wouldn't you still do that? That's like the proper way to knock on a door.
That is. You know what? One lesson that no one talks about in Southwestern is that, like, the proper way to knock on a door.
Yeah. Well, and actually,
amount of like effort to put into it so that you can still be heard, and you know.
Yeah, give them some space. Don't like stare out their window.
Middle finger, not this, not that. Just Victoria Olas was talking about that.
I was volunteering for like this nonprofit that's like really into knocking on doors in their community to ask them what they want and what they need. And so I went knocking with one of my classmates, and she was just like standing right up next to the door, and I'm like, pull it
back up.
Trust me, I've knocked on thousands of these things. So
that's hilarious. Victoria Olas, we were with her, we were talking about like all the little things that they don't advertise that you pick up, those little skills that you learn, backing out of driveways or anything like that. What was the other one? Learning how to like read people better, being a good parent, like all these like little.
Yeah, totally. Oh, you said backing out of driveways? That's so true. Yo, that is so funny. Not even joking. The other day, I was talking to Naomi, and she was saying how like one of the moments she really remembers is how I would back out of the driveway, and it would be like the long dirt road that's windy, and just like going like 25, 30, you don't even care, like.
Yeah, and it's always so slow.
It's like, was that? I missed the cat, thank goodness. So
your first day in the summer, you're like slow, carefully, like just and you're a pre-approach. Well, now I guess you do pre-approach on the iPad, but like back when you used to do pre-approach on paper, your pre-approach would be so nice. I did that my first summer. And you use the like different pens to just, and it'd be so tidy. And by like the 12th week, it's just a shit show. You can still read it just the same.
Pre-approach on paper, like holy shit! I used a map, and it would highlight the roads that I was going on. Wow, they have it so good now. Like,
oh my gosh, we had it good, but there were still things about Southwestern that, like when we used to do the paper bars. Oh, you never knew that.
No, I never did that.
You never knew the pain of a paper bar. Oh my
I lost
God.
like $2,000 in accounting my first summer. I was like, I don't know why I didn't make as much money as I should have. So
God.
Have you even heard of paper bars?
No.
Oh my God! Let me tell you.
I can imagine this is literally doing accounting. Like
it was like the top part you had to like fill out every day, and then you had to
bring this back up, Andres. You're giving me some PTSD.
It was just know that it was similar to having to wipe with like a single ply toilet paper. It was similar to that feeling of like just oh God, no.
Horrible.
Yeah. And you don't have enough to like fold it and make it 2-ply. You just have to do so much. Yeah. Anyway,
moving forward. Yeah.
So, Dylan Barr also wants to know, going back to Sizzler for a second, what is the dumbest thing you've ever seen on Sizzler from a book kid?
Oh, that's
the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
All of the things that they do.
Like how do you rank them, right? Which one's the dumbest?
Oh man.
Oh my God. I feel like I don't really remember a lot of Sizzler, and I guess it just goes to show how drunk I was. Like, I don't really know.
You're fine.
I think the dumbest thing I've seen people do in Sizzler was go to Sizzler during a pandemic without masks on.
Oh, shit. Bird.
They all came back.
I wasn't there, so I didn't see it. I saw the Instagram posts, but
if you're a current book kid and you're listening, I'm sorry. That was below the belt.
Congrats on hitting Sizzler.
Yeah, good job. Way to do it. Way to do it. So, okay, so let's talk about this, change gears real quick. We've asked everyone if there was like something about Southwestern that you thought should have been better in your time there. Like, I feel like everybody kind of has a couple of things where it's like, oh, you could have done this. Victoria mentioned the schedule. Other people mentioned other stuff. What is there anything that you would say that could have been better?
I mean, there's always room for improvement. So like, I guess like I can see how the schedule could have been better. I mean, if we had a little bit more balance, but I also understand how the schedule serves a purpose in like your sales. I feel like if the managers got a little bit more PC time, it would have made a big difference. I don't know if they do that now, but for me, I remember having a tough time, like as a B and a C, like not getting enough PC time for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, even when we're giving PCs, we need our own PCs.
Yeah, especially the managers that needed it, right? Because it's hard to help other first years. Like when an airplane's going down, they have you put your mask on first before you help others. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they didn't get enough of that. That's fair. And then, so how did you end up leaving? Was it just time, or tell us about that?
Yeah, well, I kind of mentioned it before. Like, I ran after Wisconsin. I drove, was like 23 hours straight back home because I was leaving for Thailand like right away. So I left early that summer, and I went to Thailand and I just like lived my life, and I really like I really have a passion for yoga, and that I wasn't like too big on recruiting, you know, and I know that was what I would do next if once I came back from my summer and my study abroad. Not trying to be a DSM, so I feel like I'm about to graduate and I want to go do my yoga thing, and this feels like a good time to go.
And did you feel like it was, so you're actually, I think, the first that we've heard say.
No, Victoria said she didn't spend too long.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I was like, there's another person. Sorry, we've had like 6 of these.
You keep thinking that everybody who spends time in Southwestern spends an extra summer too long.
It's true.
I don't know.
I think it's true.
I definitely think that like my third summer was kind of a force, but in a way that like, I don't know, there's always like that idea of like, okay, I don't want to do it, so I should do it. I don't want to do it, so I should do it. You know?
Right.
And I think that's kind of what I got caught up in my third summer. So I'm like, I really think I don't want to go knock on doors, but that means I should go do it. And then I was like, you know, this can just be toxic, because then when I end, if I become a DSM, and I don't want to be a DSM, so I'm just not going to go back.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. It is such a great experience though, right? Like, even despite its imperfections, you look back on it and you're like, damn, that was pretty cool.
Totally. Oh my God, the experiences and like just like what this podcast is, the stories.
What are some fun stories? What ways did you like?
I was thinking when we were talking about Maria, I was thinking about this really funny story. When I followed her, one of my first couple of weeks of selling, and so it was actually the same day of like the pizza and everything. Like, I think I only followed her like a couple of days, and we're driving and we got lost, so we need to get directions. So there's this guy walking his dog. So we pull over. He's on my side, passenger side. So we rolled down my window. We're talking through my window. So we're trying to ask him directions, and then we're kind of telling him what we're doing. It's like demo everyone, you know. So we're demoing him and stuff. And he's like pretty down to bad books. So I'm like, she kind of hands it over to me so it can kind of be my sale. And I'm like, first year, like, cool. And then there's a cop that pulls up behind us, and he's got his lights on, and he gets out of the car, comes around to talk to Maria. And for some reason, this guy's not really phased. He just kind of like looks up. And so he's buying like I think he was about like a mufu. So he buys a mufu. And I'm like doing the paper order. And then the cop is around Maria's side talking to Maria, asking her for her permit.
So you're selling some mufus.
Yeah.
Interrogating.
And Maria's right next to me, passing like IDs, and I'm on the side passing the paper order, signing.
With the lights on, the cop's like.
The cop's right behind, like.
And the guy's still buying.
And the guy's still buying. He's on this guy literally just with his dog, like, buying a mufu with me, and then the cop is next to me talking to Maria, like, getting her information.
Oh my God.
I'm like, bless this guy for not being freaked out, like, just buying books from us while there's a cop talking to us.
That's a story. That's like legit.
First week on doors.
What?
That was your first week on doors?
Yes.
That
was during our follow
That's the right business.
And that made me totally fearless. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, after that, you're set to go.
Yeah,
because that could have gone really
Yeah.
bad. That could have gone real bad.
Totally, yeah.
Oh,
I know. Good thing she had a permit.
Was there a point, Nick? I'm gonna ask you this question too. Was there a point where you? Because I don't think I've talked to you about this. Where like you were like, this works. Like maybe it was your first customer or
Oh my
whatever.
God, my first customer for sure. I remember my first customer sitting at the kitchen table, and all I did was word for word sales talk. Like, even when they said something to me, I would not be a real person. I just said the sales talk.
So you just straight up, this is how they told me to do.
Like, cool, isn't it?
Like robot.
Like, I'm like, this is a sales talk. I was so nervous.
I mean, my very first sale was exactly that.
Really?
Yeah.
Like my third summer, I had a crazy day in upstate New York. I had a first year following me. He was struggling. He had never sold anything word for word, and I did for him. And he was like, wow, that's crazy. But what really drove the whole like numbers game side of sales was it was that same third summer in upstate New York. My roommate was like getting set up all day long with his turf, and it was taking forever. And then I had to like pick him up at 4 p.m. and let him follow me for the rest of the day. And I had to like be on top of my permits and stuff. And so I was like 10 demos behind. It was like 9 p.m. and I had 20 demos. And so I'm like, we're going to Walmart. We go to Walmart, and I'm demoing people in Walmart, and I'm like, check that off, like count the demos. And I get to like demo number 29, and I'm just demoing some Ask Me's to this random lady in Walmart who's like, yeah, I'll buy some.
No way.
And so Tony's like, what?
Yeah. Oh my God. You know how many gas station demos usually turn into buys too?
Yeah.
Like,
no way.
You do it well.
I've never done that.
Absolutely.
That is nothing like my first customer. Like, my first customer. No, dude, you sold at Walmart?
Well, that was just because that was one day. I was like 20 demos at 9 p.m. I gotta get 10 more,
I can't get over that. I mean, I've heard people demoing at Walmart. I never knew somebody got an actual sale. That's pretty dope.
That's me. Credit card.
My first customer was on the way to the book field because we had just gotten done. Yeah, we had just gotten done doing sales school, and sometimes if you drive far enough, like you have to stay somewhere in a hotel and then get to the book field. Like, when you went to Wisconsin, you probably had to do that. Anyway, we're driving up. We're selling in upstate New York, but we went through Ohio, and we stayed in Erie, Pennsylvania. And the next morning, like everybody was staying in the same hotel, so the next morning we all did execs outside, just like big circle. And this employee person that was like just worked at the hotel, I think was taking a smoke break or something, and like he was just next to me, and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And so I'm like, "Oh, we sell books, and so we're doing this thing to get us jazzed up." And I'm just fresh off the sales school, so I'm like, we do these things, and it's so cool. And he's like, "Wait, what kind of books?" And I'm like, "Oh, they help with homework." And so I kind of like started recognizing that he's like, because he goes, "Do they help with math?" And I was like, oh, yes. And so I take out my sample book and I do the whole demo. And at the end, he's like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll take a set." Like I did the whole sales talk, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll take a set." And I didn't know how to ring up a customer yet. And so my manager had to come. My manager had to come and calculate the taxes and stuff and shipping because we were in Pennsylvania or whatever. And he was like, "Yeah, okay." So that was my first customer, and I hadn't even gotten to my territory yet. It was so funny.
Great way to start.
Awesome.
And all the kids in the org that were there, because all three orgs were staying in the same hotel, driving in the same direction. So they were all like, all the people saw like, "Oh, it fucking works." It's like people buy books.
Yeah,
up till that point, all you've seen is a freaking whatever you practice in the parking lot.
Right.
Wow.
So it was so funny.
I definitely remember something from my first summer, like one more door, one more door. it was the point in the summer where you kind of transitioned from low income to big brick.
Right.
So it was like, it was like my first day going into my big brick area. And there was just a lot of places that I couldn't go because everything was no soliciting. So I would keep getting kicked out, and everyone was being so mean. And I just remember I was getting my ass kicked that day. And it was almost 9:30, and I'm on zero, sitting on zero. And I'm like driving up and down the roads, and I'm just like waiting for it to be 9:30. I'm just like totally over the day, you know. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like stop at one of these houses because I feel like I need to just knock on one more door because that's what they tell you to do. So I park my car and like one of the roads, I'm just wasting time driving around. And I just go to a house, total cool family. And it's just like your classic story. When we got in and sit them down, the kids are super energetic, they're totally up, and they buy a six-pack. And they're like the kids were so excited. And I just remember we're sitting at the table and the dad's writing the check. He puts half down and he's like writing the check, and then he like stops, like he's hesitant.
Oh.
And I'm sitting there with the iPad, like I'm so ready to get out of here with my fresh units.
50 units at the time.
And the kids are sitting opposite the table, no joke, like buy it, like banging their fists on the table, and I'm just standing there. Many times it's like, all right, the kids want it.
The kids are into it.
So
you have
kids. The parents write the checks.
Question for both of you. Do you guys have like a family that, because you know how you have that one family that you donate a set to each year?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite family from that you're like, that was cool? Like I felt, you know. That,
wow. Actually, okay. It wasn't like I feel like I don't think it was like a lot of books, but there was a family that bought a set of Askmes, and when I went to deliver, they weren't gonna get the Askmes. But once I pulled up, there was a cop car in their driveway, and the mom was in the doorway just crying, and the kid was like around the back, like behind her, and I guess like the dad was going to jail. Like in that moment, the dad was going to jail, and I was like, oh my God, take your books, have your books, please have your books. And yeah, the kids were happy, but like crazy experience. Like
you watch the family watch their dad go to jail.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn. What was it?
Walk into on the book field.
I know.
Yeah. Did you guys ever go to those houses that were? Oh wait, Nick, I want to hear your story.
So my first summer, my first customer, I came back and they couldn't afford anything. This lady, Robin Conkey, you know, that was a word for word sales talk. I remember strolling up to their house. It was like my second week. Didn't really light the world on fire that first week. And I was just like, oh, I'm not going to make it, but I'm persistent. So like there's this dog, this basset hound, Buddy, that leads me to the backyard where they're all hanging out around a campfire. And I do the word for word, and I find out that the husband like just divorced and moved to California and just like abandoned all these kids that are just really unique and adorable, and they've got like quirkiness to them. They're the weird family with the weird kids that don't really make your names list super exciting, but you'll love them anyway because you know they really need it, they really want to use it. And so I come back at the end of the summer and they're like, it was a $0 down. And I come back and they're like, we got no money. So I'm just like, here, take a social studies and language book. And I don't know, that I'll never forget them just because of how it was my first customer. But I also remember there was a 5-set that I gave to a lesbian couple that like had a kindergartner that I wonder what they're doing right now. But I picked up $0 from them. That was a
5-set
customer.
Like 1 through 5? That's change right there. Good for you, Nick.
Sure, thanks.
Dang, dude, that's pretty cool. Were you ever amazed at, like, again, question for both of you, were you ever amazed at how incredibly disciplined or clean or utterly disgusting people live? Do you ever walk in some of those houses, you're just like,
oh my god, the smell is just so bad, and you're worried that when you walk out, your hair is gonna smell like.
Yeah, it's, oh man, oh
yeah. Yo, also some people's dogs are nasty, like so gross, and they just let them drool all over you, and I'm just like, do you have dog owner etiquette? Like, don't let your disgusting dog drool on me right now. Like, you know those dogs that are super, super hairy?
Yeah.
But it's like clumps of hair. So they're just like very clumpy. And if they're wet or something,
dude, it's gross. Or like,
the cats of the book field were scary too. Like the cats that are missing like lumps of fur. Like, how did that happen? Why are you like this? Why is like a quarter of your skin showing?
It's gross. Yeah. There's also like the people who have like the annoying loud dogs. Like, I probably lost at least $2,000 of profit to some sort of small dog throughout my entire career selling books. At least $2,000. Where I'm like, if it wasn't for that fucking dog, I would have totally sold them. But she was so annoyed at the dog that she kicked me out, or like she just closed it early, and I'm like,
oh my god.
I think it's more than 2,000 for every book kid.
Yeah. That's just... How many millions of dollars have yappy dogs cost Southwestern as a whole?
Wow, this could be a research study.
Literally millions. It has to be in the tens of millions across the history of the company. Damn dogs. Yeah. It's amazing.
It was also pretty impressive, like being in the really big houses though too.
Yeah.
Like, really being inside some brick was like nice. It was cool.
Well, what are some of the most expensive houses you ever sold around?
Well, I don't know like how much they were, but I just actually remember from my second summer, Mr. Bobo, the Bobo family, and he was the only orthopedic surgeon in the whole town. So he was
loaded.
Making bank. He was loaded. And they bought too, which is cool. But like using their name, almost like a lot of the times people are like, well, of course the Bobos bought, they're rich. Like,
yeah. Afford it.
But I'm like,
What town was this in?
I think it was in Murray. Yeah, Murray, Kentucky.
Murray, Kentucky. Shout out to Dr. Bobo from Murray, Kentucky.
I know. Shout out Dr. Bobo.
The most expensive brick I sold in was when I was in Andover, actually, in Massachusetts. And I don't know. Yeah. No, stop yapping. It was crazy. There was at least, I think, 4 or 5 neighborhoods that I sold in where the average house income or value was like $2.5 million to $5 million. Like so like I'm talking about houses that were like, just you're just like, what the fuck? And everybody, they went to school in Phillips Exeter and Andover, which is like where the Kennedys go to high school, and they pay $50,000 a year.
Oh.
Yeah, like it was crazy. And I sold to the math teacher of that school. That's the name I got, and it ended up working out. I hit PC that week, but if I didn't hit her, I would have got blown away because I was just getting rejected. Because you know how big brick people are, just mean. And so it was just like, oof. But those houses were, the driveways were so long. And then when you like finally break through the trees, you see this like massive thing. You're like, damn, like big ass door knock. Boom. Crazy rich people. You're like, no way.
Yeah, I do remember though, and I really loved like you would get both ends of the spectrum. Like you would get the rich people that were very like don't waste my time, and then you get the rich people that like understood what you were doing and really appreciated it.
They fed you.
They're just like, they're like, sell me.
Yeah.
Do it, sell me. And I was like, yes.
Well,
and they're like they would like super appreciate that you're like a young college kid like working their way through school and you're like putting yourself out there, and they like understood that.
Yeah. You ever get anybody tip you?
No.
I had people tip me. Yeah. Yeah, they're like, yeah, we'll take the set, and then at the end they're like, hey, here, and they would take out like a 20 or a 50, and they just give it to you. They're super rich people. They're just, here you go.
I had one like superintendent just pay me $25. He's like, here, man, I'm not gonna buy anything from you, but you're working hard on a Saturday. Like, here's $25. Here's the change in my pocket. Get back to work. And I was like, you got it.
It's also amazing how cheap they are. Like,
how cheap you are?
Rich people. Yeah. Like, well, no, like one time I had to close this way. I told Danny this story a long time ago, but this guy, like, we did the whole price bill up, whatever, close him. And the dad literally goes, I don't know, man, $600 seems like a lot. And I was like, I mean, this guy had like a bear rug, like chandelier. And I would close like this. I was like, are you kidding me? I literally said that. I just looked around his house and I was like, are you insane right now? Like, these books are half of your one cushion of your couch. Are you kidding me? And he was like, you're probably right. And he just wrote the whole check. Because you have to get edgy with people like that. You have to get edgy with rich people because they think they're like the shit. So you have to go like get a little bit more like ask for what you want. And they respect it. Yeah, and they respect you for that. Like, if you hit them hard, it's like, hey, no, I know what I'm doing. Because you also would get those rich people that, like, they figured that out about you. They size you up and you got that right away. And then they would just let you take over. So they would literally tell you, hey, whatever you think we should buy, we'll get. And you're like, get the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, yeah. That's how you handle big bread.
Oh my God. Have you ever had rich people have you ever had like rich moms that are super like competitive with other rich moms and be like,
yes.
So what did everyone else get? And they want to top that.
Yeah. Southampton, my third summer. I think there was 42 households that had children in it, is what the clerk told me when I checked into the town. And by the time I was done with that town, I had 37 customers. Like, I sold to almost everyone.
Wow.
And so, but that's all it was. And I did it a different way. I was like, did shopping cart style. So I'm like, whatever you want, just pick what you want, and then we can bundle it. I wasn't selling by packages. And that was the only time I ever worked. But they would like pick a couple and they go, no, what did the Johnsons get? I'm like, oh, they actually. And so they would.
They got everything.
Yeah, and so then they would add, and so it just became a thing where, and eventually there was like 6 or 7 of them in a row that you're just like, well, that's what they all got this package. So the mom would just be like, okay, we'll get what they got, just to not be below. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, my second to last HQ was pretty like a big brick HQ too, actually. Like
just
yeah. And it was my turf too, which is fun. So I could use their name.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're staying with this family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty legit.
Western Kentucky. That's it's like really spread out, super green and hot and humid.
Did they give you pre-approach like when you were?
No, they did not. Honestly, they weren't even there a lot. Oh my God, the last couple of weeks, this was my second summer I'm talking about. Last couple of weeks that I was in with them, they were on vacation. And the 2 people I was living with moved. So I was living in that house all by myself.
Oh,
Ranger. Like, no HQ family. And my first year was moved because she ran out of turf. And then the other first year ran out of turf. People will run out of turf.
Yeah.
I guess it happens.
Some people.
Oh my God. And I also had to water her plants. And it was so like, I was like, okay, I had to wake up earlier. And I don't know if you guys know about plant people, but like, it's kind of hard to take care of other people's plants because you could easily kill them. And then if you kill someone's plant, that's like a big deal. You have to buy a new one. And there was an extensive list of directions, like hold the hose 30 seconds over this one. 45 seconds over this one.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's a particular person.
I know, that's a rich garden.
Okay, question for you. Did you get a schedule very often?
Off schedule?
Yeah.
Honestly, no. I think like no. If I did, it was like long drives to other houses because I like had a hard time at the house before or something. But typically,
you never went to the beach. You never went to a movie. You never.
Never did anything like that. No, I never.
You never stayed like too long at a family's house because they were like, "Oh, we're gonna go on a boat," and then you went into.
Oh, I totally did, but I didn't go on any boat. But I didn't go on any boat. Actually, I remember like really debating this because okay, with the whole being off schedule, I was like, I don't know, it was just so like built into me as a first year that like they're gonna know, like, don't be off schedule, like you can't be off schedule. And so I was with a family and they were like, yeah, we got jet skis and you should really come with us, like, you know, it's gonna be fun. And I had to say no, and I said no.
Oh, you said
it could have been a good summer.
Just a lot of pressure to stay on schedule. We
I know. But I like totally like would feel like super over it at some points. Oh, I've definitely taken naps.
That's I was off schedule, but never did that.
I remember being so tired. Okay, I definitely had reasons to be tired, but like okay, this is kind of a long story. But like, okay, second summer, you know Adrian, Nick?
Which one?
Nick? Adrian Winters.
Yes.
Okay. Poor Adrian, first year. Oh my God, craziest like experience.
I've heard some drama about her first summer, so go on.
Yeah, well, it was so scary. So like, we're all home. It's 11 o'clock, and Adrian's not home yet. And so we're like calling her, and then she finally answers, and she's like crying on the phone, and she's talking. She's super muffled, and literally my first thought is like, oh my God, she's like tied up in the back of a car or something, and I'm like super scared.
Holy
so I like.
shit.
But I don't remember exactly how we found out, but she's gotten a car accident. She drove into a ditch, and she slammed her jaw on the steering wheel, and her jaw was like hanging off of her face. Like she was very injured, like blood, like
my God,
very legit. And I remember I hop in the car and I tell Naomi and Kayla at the time, who's like, stay here. Like I didn't want them to be involved. I felt like that was a good choice, like because then they would have been up all night. Because I ended up being up all night, so I was like, I gotta go find her because she has no way to get home. So I was driving towards her turf. I knew where her turf was, and I'm calling my OL, and then I call my OL, he doesn't answer. I call Amy, she doesn't answer. I call Ron, he doesn't answer. I call like everyone, no one's answering. And then finally OL answers, and I tell him the situation. And he's just like, what can we do? Like totally being a duck. And I'm like, stop. This is really like a tough situation. Like I don't need you to be a duck right now. I need you to be like this is intense.
Crisis mode.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But ended up she was okay, and she did have to go home for the rest of that summer. But that next day, I was like up until 3 a.m. and I was spelling. Like I had to wake up 3 hours later, and I was super duper tired, and I fell asleep. Like I don't know why I did this, but it was like a long dirt driveway, and I just like pulled into it. I didn't know it was a driveway. I thought it was just another dirt road, and I just like knocked out for a little bit, and someone knocked on my window. And I'm like, are you okay?
You're like,
yes.
No. Who are you? Are you the mom here?
Just taking a nap.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
I have
wild.
had people also ask me if I was a kid who missed the bus. I have to admit that.
Yeah, you do look young. Yeah, but you. Yeah, that's
Sitting down the road with my backpack on, and they're like, "Hey, did you miss the bus?" I'm pulled up in their car.
Did you miss the bus?
No.
Did you ever feel unsafe? Like,
No,
did you ever feel?
never.
Did you ever have a scary story like that? I had a couple people who were pretty racist, but other than that, like.
Yeah, true. I've had people pull guns on me, but I guess not realizing that I'm like a very really small girl, and then they do realize that, and they're like, I see them put it behind their back.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, what if you practice with a mom?
What?
Yeah, what if that was a mom? She was like a super badass mom. And
she had a
I knocked on
gun?
the
Did she pull a
door.
gun on you?
It was a long, tall gun. Maybe that's like a rifle. I don't know guns. But, and she like comes out of the door and I just see her silhouette and she's got the gun like, what do you want? I'm like, oh, almost to my car. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm just selling books. And she put the gun in her bag. No, she bought actually.
Hey.
I have a gun guy who bought too. And at the end he just had a gun in his hand and he's like, what do you want? I don't know, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just selling books. Like, just like chilling.
Yeah.
And then, he ended up buying it. And then later on, when I went to deliver, he had like all his guns out and we went shots. First time I ever shot a gun was with Larry Keegan in upstate New York.
Wow, nice.
Did you ever have like we asked this to Victoria. Do you remember meeting a hot dad?
Totally. Oh my God. I remember such like intense situation.
Ooh.
Never would do anything and never did anything. But like, yeah. Single dads always bought.
Tell us about this. Tell us about the hottest dad you met on the book field. I'm just kidding.
No, please do.
You don't have to do that.
I mean, it's not really like, it's not really a crazy story, but I just definitely remember like sitting with his dad and I'm just, I mean, he's got little kids and he's just taking these long pauses and I'm just like, So the book. Kind of very awkward.
It's like,
yeah.
So the classic. So kids struggle with math.
Do you help the kids with homework?
Is that not how the teacher does it? I'm just kidding. Just imagine saying something crazy to a dad. But you never felt unsafe or anything like that. That's good. That's
yeah.
I always thought like legit is pretty safe. So if you're just smart and don't do stupid.
Yeah. I definitely had people think that I was weird. Oh my God. I just remember being followed by somebody. And when your follow is just not a good follow, God, it really sucks. Like,
yes.
When they're just not being a good follow.
Oh,
dude,
okay, go ahead. So when the first year's like putting a stink on your day because they're just really not fun to deal with.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah. Well,
I've got a story about that, but please go ahead.
This is actually a manager, so they should have known better. But I just remember this person just being so like weird with the families I was sitting down with. I was sitting down with a mom and a daughter, and we're literally like in a sit down, and this guy gets up and looks at the pictures around the house. Like very weird.
Okay.
And like totally distracting to sit down. And I'm just like, dude, really? And then, like rumors get spread. But they're very easy to like get calmed down because you just have to go to the next door and like be like, hey, can you like tell your friends that I'm not weird because you just bought this for me?
Jeez. What the hell? I remember one time I spoke with Steve and Elena when I was in first year, and because they were both like, do not talk. If they ask you something, answer it, but like, let me just, I mean, they were on and I didn't know any better. And I spoke up in front of each of them once, and both of them were like this, like, I'm going to choke you, freaking, I told you not to talk. And so I learned my lesson. Yeah. And so like, I told all the first years I followed me, like, shut up. Like, I'm in the zone, get me out of the zone.
Yeah. But it was totally, I totally remember like following Maria, and she would do like those jokes on me, like, hi, I'm Maria, this is Sarah, and she has something to say. You know those things? That was always like funny. I'm like, good.
You pick up. Yeah, I understand.
So Sarah, we've loved having you on for this past hour. I think it's time for the pony story, where either it's your favorite customer, they bought everything, or it was like one of my pony stories that I love telling about. My time in Southwestern was the time that I caught bird shit in my hands while shaking someone's hand in their front lawn. They didn't buy, right? They weren't even a prospect, But that whole story, that whole sequence was hilarious. I'm never going to forget that till the day that I die. Either you could do a funny story that you'll never forget or a favorite pony, whatever you choose.
Okay. So I do remember this one story. It was my last summer, and I was selling in a lot of suburban areas, and there was like always this one house that I could never catch. And I remember like I kind of caught the dad in the driveway, and he said, "Oh, just come back later." And I was like, "Okay," and never could catch him, blah blah blah. And then I was delivering, so it took all summer, and I'm delivering, and I'm like delivering to the neighborhood, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to these guys and see if I can catch them. And I knock on the door, and the dad answers, and he's like, "Oh, hey, you came back." And I was like, "Yeah, what's up? I'm Sarah, I'm the book girl." And he was like, "Yeah, I know exactly who you are. I used to have all of these books. Come on in." I'm like, "Hell yeah." So I'm just delivering. So good freaking thing that I guess I'll get there. So we're in this sit down, and they've got 2 teenagers, super chill, like super cool dad. Like I love cool dads. And I'm just like demoing the books, and the kids are like super into it. They're like, "Yeah, I mean, I definitely need help with this. I definitely help with this." Like such a good sit down. And they were like, "Yeah, I mean, maybe let's get a set of math books." And I was like, "Cool, awesome." And so they buy the math books, and then I have my bucket with me from delivering that has like, everything else in it that they always tell you to bring.
Yeah, that's
like,
horror.
And I was like, "Well, actually, I have a bunch of extra books. You want to like see what I got?" And they're like, "Sure." And so I pull one out, and it was like, "So this is the topics book, blah blah." And they're like, "Yeah, let's get it." And so just one by one, "Yeah, let's get it. Let's get that one," until they get everything.
No way.
And I was like, "Hell yeah, this house." That they were just buyers from the get-go because he had these books already.
That's how it works. The hardest ones to get.
Totally. It was so solidifying too. That was like, this is awesome. Like,
so you dropped a bag.
Yeah.
98 units, just boom, there you go.
And they were super cool, and I just got delivered right on the spot. Like, and I was like, this thing, I put everything in my bucket.
I love those stories of how just people are just so open-minded. Like it helps you remember that some people are just super freaking cool. Just like
yeah, it was a really cool time. They were fun. They were so chill. Yeah, that was like a great like end. It was delivery time, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
was that your third summer, or which summer was that?
Yeah, that was my third summer.
That was like your last week ever.
Yeah, I know. So that was like a really great ending. I was
just finished strong.
Yeah, these people already love the books, and they want all the books. It was so funny. I literally did that. I was like, okay, and now I have this.
No way. That's so cool. Oh man, I love it.
Anything else that you'd love to share about, Sarah, whether stuff that you've done after the book field, or if you want to kind of put a neat bow on this little present of a box of a podcast?
I guess like selling books was like is one of the best experiences you can really do. Like, quite honestly, like everything that you learn selling books, like about attitude, about just being an adult, about talking to people, like talking to strangers is one of the hardest things to do, because when you're talking to people, you have no idea how they're going to respond. And so being on the spot like that all day is like the most like challenge you can put yourself through. And it literally I literally see it in every aspect of my life right now.
Mm.
So like for any like college students, 100%.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah, that's a good cast right there. Love it. Cool, brother. Well, Nick, do you have any announcements or anything like that?
Again, thank you, Sarah, for joining us on the 6th episode of Ponytails. We've got another one this Thursday. It's going to be around 7 p.m. Eastern time with Sydney and Dove and Renee Dodson together. Some Dynasty chicks right there. And then on Sunday, we've got Sydney Mead, an old JYD book chick, filling out the rest of this week. So after that, we've got more in that Christmas week, and we're getting stuff lined up with some really interesting guests, and we'll see how it all plays out. We're going to create a Facebook business page where we can actually house all of these links and all of these, live streams, so that way, more people can be tuned in and people can share and check it out. So
yeah. Heck yeah. And then please be sure, if you want to, we'll have the video uploaded. If you'd like to share some of these stories or share it on your personal page, that'd be awesome to get us some exposure. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page, because it does good things for the algorithm on YouTube. And that's what we want.
Yes.
We are going to use you. So
yes.
That'd be great. Okay.
Right.
But if not, that's okay too.
All right. Well, Sarah Francois Ayoub, we'll talk to you later.
Thank you, guys.
Have an awesome Sunday.
Thanks for being on. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
See ya.
All right. Adios.
Bye, y'all.